Welcome back to The Explainer, everyone. Today, we are taking a trip deep into the mountains of Himachal Pradesh, specifically the absolutely breathtaking Kullu Valley. We're going to unpack a local legend that has, well, a bit of everything. We're talking giant shapeshifting serpents, massive divine intervention, and a real-world natural phenomenon that literally defies all modern logic. So, right off the bat, I want you to think about this question. How on earth can a solid stone, shattered into literally dozens of pieces by a massive force, be perfectly put back together, like completely healed, using nothing but ordinary everyday butter? It sounds crazy, right? Keep this little riddle in the back of your mind, because by the end of our explainer today, you're going to see exactly how this impossible scenario plays out in the real world, year after year. But to understand the miracle, we kind of have to start with the myth. So, Section 1, the elusive demon of Kullu. And that brings us right to Section 2, the flood and Mahadev's call. Okay, so every great legend needs a truly formidable antagonist, right? And ours is this incredibly powerful, shape-shifting demon named Kulant. Now, Kulant's goal wasn't just to scare people. He actually had this catastrophic plan to completely wipe out all life in the region. As you can see on the timeline, this unfolds in 4 distinct eras. In Era 1, the demon manifests as this colossal python, huge, stretching across the entire landscape and completely blocking the rivers. Moving into Era 2, because of this massive blockage, the river water starts to severely overflow. And this wasn't some slow, gradual rise, it was a sudden, violent surge. By Era 3, it's absolute chaos. The entire valley and all the surrounding villages literally begin to drown. Total destruction was imminent. Finally, in Era 4, with the water hitting a fatal peak, the people face absolute annihilation. In pure desperation, they cry out for divine intervention, calling upon Mahadev, Lord Shiva, to save them from a watery grave. And, well, Mahadev hears his devotees. According to the lore, he doesn't hesitate for a second. He descends upon the valley armed with his iconic weapon. He raises his mighty trident high, and with a single, absolutely devastating strike, he slays the giant python demon. Just like that, the threat of the flood is neutralized, and the valley is saved. But, as we often see in these ancient myths, the end of one huge battle is usually just the start of a brand new geological reality. Which brings us to Section 3, Establishment of the Peak's Shivland. See, when a giant magical python dies, it doesn't just poof into thin air. The legend states that Kulant's massive corpse actually transformed into the very mountain range that borders the valley today. But there was a major catch. This new mountain radiated a dark, lingering negative energy. So the villagers survived the flood, but now they're living right in the shadow of this corrupted peak. To counter this, to permanently cleanse that dark aura, Lord Shiva performs a divine act. He manifests himself right at the very top of that mountain in a sacred form of a shivling. And it's the absolute purity of that manifested shivling that perfectly neutralizes the demon's remaining darkness. But here is where the story shifts from the supernatural to the fiercely natural. Because Mahadev manifested his shivling at the absolute highest point of this towering mountain, it essentially became a giant, divine lightning rod. This peak is extremely high up. That creates a constant, very real danger of deadly lightning strikes. So the villagers survived a demon and a flood, only to face a brand new celestial threat literally raining down on them from the sky. Let's look at how that gets resolved in Section 4, Mahadev's unique sacrifice. With his devotees in peril yet again, this time from these incredibly fierce storms, Mahadev intervenes once more. But this time it's not with a weapon. It's an act of profound protection. He issues a direct command to Indradev, the god of rain and thunderstorms. He says, "Whenever lightning strikes here, it will not fall on the villagers, but directly on me." He is actively inviting the raw, destructive force of nature upon himself, choosing to absorb the blow so the valley below can survive and thrive. Now, listen, this isn't just some poetic metaphor. This is a real, physical event that repeatedly happens in the Kullu Valley even today. With every single high-voltage strike of celestial lightning drawn to that peak, the impact is catastrophic. The immense heat and the sheer force of the fierce lightning hit the stone shivling directly, completely shattering it into countless jagged pieces. The sacred stone is physically blown apart by the sky. And that sets up our final section, the miracle of joining with butter. Remember that crazy riddle I asked you at the very beginning of the explainer, how a shattered stone can be healed? Well, here is exactly how this astonishing cycle plays out. Step 1. The fierce lightning strikes the shivling. Step 2. The stone shatters into pieces. Then, Step 3. The temple priests gather all those scorched, broken fragments, and using nothing but simple, locally churned butter, acting as the world's most unlikely divine superglue, they carefully piece the shivling back together. And then Step 4. A true miracle. Within just a few days, the butter miraculously solidifies the stone as if it had never been broken in the first place. It perfectly restores the sacred stone, at least until the next huge storm rolls in and the whole cycle just repeats itself. It's just an absolutely captivating cycle of destruction and restoration, isn't it? It leaves us with this really powerful final thought to chew on. Where else does ancient faith so visibly absorb the literal wrath of nature to protect its people? It's a beautiful, enduring mystery, a place where a story of a giant python and a divine trident actually lives on through a shattered stone and the healing touch of simple butter. Thank you so much for joining me for this explainer. Keep asking questions, stay curious, and I'll catch you in the next one.